Let's talk about the dysfunctional dynamic that is the idolization of celebrities. Celebrities are just humans, just like you and I. They have found success and fame through discipline in whatever craft they have chosen. In this case, specifically, I'm going to take the opportunity to explore Dave Grohl of Foo Fighters, the man who just so managed to piss off the internet even more than Linkin Park when they came back with a female singer. Dave Grohl made it public that he had an affair, and not just an affair, after a 21-year marriage with three kids, one of them being as young as 10 years old. It's weird that I know all of this. I'm just going to set that as a foundation. We're going to get more into that in a second. But he decided to have an affair with another woman outside of his marriage and even have a child with that woman. Now, my intention with this is to actually explore the dynamic of idolization, which its opposite is demonization. Or you could look at it as idealization and devaluation, right? Which is a dynamic that is rooted in emotional immaturity, which is a dynamic that we see fucking everywhere. It's very popular in pop culture and among celebs, right? We take celebs and we put them up on pedestals. We act that they're like fucking gods, this, that, and the other. And they're fucking not. And then we find out that they've done something that we deem as, you know, morally wrong. We discern it as morally wrong. We demonize them. We devalue them. So let's dive into it, right? So Dave Grohl, the lead singer of Foo Fighters and the previous drummer of Nirvana, he came out publicly that he had an affair and even got a woman pregnant, right? I'm not really focused on what it is that he did, though. Instead, what it is that I'm focused on, because this channel is centered around personal growth, personal development, psychology, spirituality, all of that stuff. The depth that is personal development and personal growth, I'm more focused on the idolization as well as the demonization of a human that is just like you and me, that has chosen to discipline himself with a craft and become famous and successful. And the reality is that we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. So we put people on pedestals and we think that they're more than human. We think that they're invincible, untouchable. But we see it over and over again with artists falling out of the industry, whether it's like to the point where they're gone because they've OD'd, or they've done something that has incriminated them, right? They do something that is legally fucked, and that's just the reality of it, right? But yeah, we have a tendency now. I won't say we have a tendency. Actually, what I'll say is people that lack emotional health and emotional maturity, they idolize people. They put people on a pedestal. They put Dave Grohl on a pedestal, and before he was this hero, he was this incredible guy. He was like, I'm gonna compare him to like Tom Hanks. I've heard that Tom Hanks is like America's sweetheart, this, that, and the other. I just so happen to like Tom Hanks. However, I also understand that Tom Hanks is a human, just like you and I. He has, however, disciplined himself to get really good at a craft and be successful with it, both on the screen and financially. That's cool, right? But the reality of the matter is that there's a portion of society that, because they are emotionally immature, they idolize people to the extent that they see them as above other people. They see them even as like above human. Like they're like god level. No human on the face of this planet, I don't give a fuck who you are, is beyond human. No human, period. We are all human. We all have shit. We've all done shit. We've all made mistakes. That's the reality of it, right? Seeing somebody as more than human is a distortion of the reality, which is basically synonymous with idolization. Like you hear somebody say, like, oh, who's your idol, right? And it's funny too, because I was just talking to somebody earlier this year, who's a close friend of mine, no names, but we were talking about different things and stuff, and we were talking about like people and everything. And he said to me, he was like, "Don't get to know your heroes because you'll be disappointed." Right? And I was like, "Yeah, it's so true. You don't know what you don't know, and if you knew what you didn't know, you probably would be disappointed. But that's only because you idolize, right?" Now, the other thing that I want to explore, because this entire situation reeks for very, excuse me, very obvious reasons of lack of healthy boundaries. First and foremost, to indulge in an affair outside of your marriage. Again, I'm not trying to judge here. I'm trying to step into discernment, right? Morally wrong. Yeah, that's fucked up, right? Um, and I would say even exceedingly. I will say though, and I'm really not trying to get emotional here, but I will say, um, it's one thing to have an affair outside of your marriage, right? It's another thing to have an affair and actually choose to like have a child with somebody else outside of your marriage. Because like I understand he's Dave Grohl, Foo Fighters, successful band and everything. He's got money. Doesn't matter. He can afford it. It's not always about the money, you know? Like, can you actually be present with your family and children? From what I've learned in terms of healing and the overall health dynamic of any family is the capacity for any individual within, well, I should say, the capacity for a parent within that family system to be present with their family. For a parent, yeah, I said that right. For a parent in that family system to be present with their family, their children, right? Mirroring is a real thing. If a child gets a severe lack of mirroring early on in life, they're probably going to have some very severe trauma, right? And that's going to fuck them up over the long term, right? So yeah, a lack of healthy boundaries, that's a given. The boundary is the marriage. The boundary is that you and I mean, probably based on what he chose. Some people might disagree, this, that, and the other. You can set your own standards for whatever you want. But traditional marriage is the boundary, right? It's between one person and the other. He violated that boundary. Um, Other than that, I saw a lot of comments online when I was like, you know, looking this up a little bit, and I saw people saying, "This is none of my business." That is true. So the question then that I have is that did he actually have to tell the public what had happened? Would he have felt like a fraud if he didn't go public about it? There are people out there, probably, I'm not claiming this as fact, but there are people out there that they don't go public about stuff like that. They just keep it between them and their families, and that's the way that they continue to choose to live, right? It doesn't make them good or bad or right or wrong. Some people, and I've been here before, some people have this feeling inside of their chest that is telling them that they have to go public with it because they'd probably feel like a shell of a human. They'd feel like a fraud. They'd feel like, I don't know, a piece of shit, right? Um, Contrary to popular belief, and this is not my own opinion. This is just me looking at things from the opposite of an emotionally immature individual, which would mean somebody who's emotionally healthy. Um, it's not right or wrong or good or bad. I mean, I would say that it's morally indecent. I would say that it's morally wrong. So, I mean, considering the moral dynamic of the entire situation, yeah, it was wrong that he did that. He should not have done that. But it doesn't make him good or bad, you know. When we idolize people, we put them on a pedestal and we forget essentially that they're human, right? Um, and that's the problem because like we are it doesn't matter who you are, what you can do, or what you've achieved. You're still human at the end of the day. You may have just gotten really good at disciplining yourself to get better and be famous and successful with your craft. That's great, that's dope. You're still human, right? And so it's wild because I'm gonna go even deeper with this. I don't know how far I'm gonna take this video, but anyway, it almost creates a fairy tale or fantasy dynamic, right? Um, Again, we are all just human, no less, no more, right? We can do things with discipline and craft and become famous and successful beyond the big screen, finances, this, that, and the other, right? But at the end of the day, that doesn't change the fact that we're still human, right? We still have drives. I don't know how true this is, and I'm not claiming any of this is fact, but I heard that he was going through loss, right? I heard that he like lost a friend or lost a family member or something like that. We deal with grievance and loss in different ways, you know. We utilize coping mechanisms to get ourselves through it. It could be that he was using an affair as a coping mechanism to get through some type of loss. Again, he's human just like you and I. Just because we grew up seeing him on the big screen and idolizing him, whether it be his craft for singing, for drumming with Nirvana, for like whoever it is, like he's still just human. No matter how many fucking autographs he's written on things for people, he's still just human. No matter how many live shows that have made him out to look like a fucking god in the heavens, he's just human. No matter how much success or fame or finances anybody achieves, we are all just human. That's the reality of it. No different from you or I, right? And to understand that and see that for what it is, right? Maybe you grew up believing that your father or your mother or I don't know, somebody else was this incredible out of this world person. No, they're just human. They're just human. You might really idolize them. But the challenge with idolizing somebody is that the opposite of that is demonization. It's devaluing. So this is the all or nothing dynamic of the emotional maturity, right? Or the emotional immaturity, right? So like I've seen online where people are saying like, "Oh my god, you are my hero. You're a fucking scumbag," or like, "You're a fraud. Like you're fucking fake. I thought you were better than that. I thought you were this, that, and the other because I idolized you. I thought that you were more than human. Why aren't you more than human? You fucking lied to me. How dare you fucking deceive me like this? You were my hero." He doesn't fucking owe you anything for starters, and quite honestly, you are responsible for how you perceive people. And if you perceive people in a distorted perception, right? If you see somebody as more than what they are, which is human, that's your responsibility. That's your fault. You're seeing somebody in a distorted way that's just not accurate to who they are, right? So like whenever I see these kinds of things happen, I'm like, oh yeah, people idolize. Let me just say it this way though, because it's not that people idolize. Emotionally immature people idolize. And when I refer to emotionally immature people, I'm not here to offend or attack anybody. I'm looking at it for what it is. People that are emotionally healthy don't idolize because they're emotionally healthy. Let me make this very clear. The dynamic of idolization and demonization is rooted in like actual infancy, right? Like the baby is born and then within like the first like 6 months of infancy of a human's life, that is where idolization and demonization comes from, right? Many people that idolize are fucking stuck there. They were traumatized there, and they see everything, including people in the world, in a black and white or black or white way, right? You're either all good or you're all bad. There is no in between, right? So like instead of looking at it from the standpoint of, oh wow, Dave Grohl, cool music, cool band, right? This, that, and the other. He and his band makes music, or he and his band make music that I like, right? Say for instance. Oh, but at the end of the day, he is just human. So he is very much just bound to the same shit that you and I are, right? We all make mistakes. We all have emotions. Of course, depending on people's emotional health, they're far more in control of themselves than other people. That's the reality of it. Um, the more emotionally healthy an individual is, the more in control of themselves and their actions they are, right? And so that's the reality of it. But and you know, emotionally healthy people, they look at somebody like him and they'd be like, he's just human. He's not good or bad. It's not right or wrong, right? Oh shit, he had an affair outside of his marriage. Wow, he got a woman pregnant and he's having a kid with her. That's fucked up. Okay, not a bad person though. You know, not good or bad or right or wrong. Morally, it's fucked up, right? We'll call it that, right? Um, is that going to stop me from listening to his music? No, let's go listen to Learn to Fly. That was the first song that I heard from them more than a decade ago, like back when I was in high school or something like that. Loved it. Or maybe you like Everlong, right? Let's go jam out to his music, right? Emotionally unhealthy people, oh my god, he's a fucking god. He's incredible. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Idolizing, 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 idolizing. He can do no wrong, he can do no bad. Oh my god. What? Dave Grohl had an affair outside of his marriage and got a woman pregnant and is having a kid with her? Fuck you, scumbag, you're a piece of shit. All or nothing. They're either all good or they're all bad. That is the way that emotionally immature and emotionally unhealthy people. Now there is a spectrum for it, of course, right? Not everyone is like way fucking extreme about it, right? There's average health, there's exceedingly good health, and there's exceedingly bad health, right? And people that exceed bad health are the ones that exceedingly idolize, and they're basically like, oh my god, he's a god, he can do no wrong. Oh my god, he's a fucking piece of shit who should be canceled. He had a fucking affair outside of his marriage and got a woman pregnant. Is choosing to have the kid. What the fuck's wrong with this guy? Cancel him, right? Emotionally healthy people. Damn, that's fucked up. Well, he's human, so we all make mistakes. Let's go listen to Everlong. Let's go listen to Learn to Fly, right? People that are emotionally immature and emotionally unhealthy are very quick to jump the gun and go from idolization to demonization. This person is everything to me. They're my hero. They've done all these incredible things. They've made all this incredible music that I fucking love so much. Oh my god, they did one fucking thing wrong. They're a piece of shit. They're nothing to me. Cancel them, right? And that's the reality of it. So I really like to look at the dynamic of the audience reaction because it's like, well, you guys technically did not need to know because that is actually his own boundary that he may have even violated for himself because he felt some potential moral obligation to go public with it because maybe he would have felt like a fraud if he didn't. Right? Imagine if he didn't say anything. And Linkin Park were the only music group to piss people off with a new singer that's a female that I just so happen to love, by the way. I don't buy any of the stuff that. I mean, I understand the like what people are saying about it, but whatever. We're not getting into that. Yeah, he's human. At the end of the day, people that are emotionally immature, they put people on a pedestal and they idolize them. They think that they're all good, right? And then they find out one fucking thing, and then it's the end of the fucking world. Um, Life is not that. Life is far more balanced. But that is the dynamic that is emotional immaturity, and that's the reality of it. Let me just make this very clear if I haven't already in this last minute of this video. He's a human, just like you and I. I'm not going to stop listening to his music. I like it. Um, he chose to have an affair outside of his marriage. Yep, I'm not going to get emotional about it. Is it fucked up? Yep, it is. I see it for what it is, but I also see him as a human. Not pedestaling. Pedestaling. I don't even know if that's the way you could say it, but not idolizing him. You know, he's not a god. He's just human, just like you and I. Um, sure, he's done really cool things. He's made really great music, and I understand people see him as a hero, and now they don't because they see them as this fraud scumbag who isn't the person that they thought he was. So understand that that's the process of idealization. You are making somebody out to be more than what they are, which is human. And when they violate that perception that you've created for them, you devalue the fuck out of them and you go as far as to cancel them. It is wild.